Hey, Brown Beauties. Welcome to Well Honestly, the podcast, sponsored by Brown Women Wellness. I'm Andretta, a functional nutrition wellness coach.
And I'm Akila. We are your mother-daughter hosts, bringing two different generations together weekly to educate you on all things related to health, nutrition, financial, and mental wellness during these changing times.
Once we know what choices we have, we can do better because we know the struggle to stay healthy is real.
We invite you to come as you are, but leave inspired to become your best healthy self. So let's get started.
Welcome to another episode of Well Honestly, where we meet you where you are on your wellness journey with topics that you can relate to. And today I am so excited because we have a special guest. And Akila will not be joining us today, but I have a great person to talk to. She will be missed, and I'm sure she'll be back on our next episode. But today, we're going to do something really special. We're going to talk to a COVID survivor, a heart attack survivor, a stroke survivor. Her name is Yvette Jones Swanson. And when we come back, we're going to hear her story of survivor. We'll be right back. Brown Women Wellness mission is to empower brown women and their families through education and products to help improve their family health and wellness through a lifestyle of easy and actionable steps. I'm Andretta Robinson, functional nutrition wellness coach. In 2008, I was diagnosed with an early stage of cancer. My doctor wanted to remove my womb as a cure, but I was determined there had to be another way. After lots of research, I found a curable alternative, forcing my doctor to treat it without any surgery. And in 2018, I was visiting my aunt in Atlanta after having lost my mother to heart disease and saw her health was in distress with high blood pressure and all things related. A visit to the health food store to formulate herbal teas, which is now called Brown Women Wellness Anti-Inflammation Tea, and a diet and lifestyle change turned my aunt's health around. I knew I had found my calling. We bring you healthy lifestyle information through our Brown Women Wellness website, our Brown Women Wellness Facebook group, emails, Instagram, and other social media websites, and our Well Honestly podcast. Find us. You'll be glad you did. I'm going to talk about mental health today, too. That seems to be one of our COVID topics because a lot of the survivors have had to struggle, with the after effects. And so we're gonna talk about how Yvette survived and is thriving and still surviving today. Now, let me tell you how I met Yvette. I first met her. Most of you know that my day job, the one that pays the bills, is real estate. Brown Women Wellness is an up and coming company, and right now it's not paying the bills, but we're hoping that if you guys continue to listen to Well Honestly, the podcast, that we'll get monetized and those bills will get paid and I could do more of this and less of that. That's the plan. But anyway, I met Yvette. Yvette is also a realtor. And we met right a little bit before COVID started. I think it was maybe about 6 months, maybe a year. Help me out, Yvette, if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
But we
we
met right before it all hit the fan.
yeah, we had a transaction together. That's how
That's
we
what it was.
became, connected. And we stayed
Right.
connected.
We did. We had a transaction together. And so one day I saw her on she was she was on Facebook and she was talking about, some of the things, the trials and tribulations she had gone through. And if I'm not mistaken, too, your mom passed. Her mom had passed from COVID as well. So
Yeah.
she was going through some real struggles and tribulations. But the beautiful part about Yvette is I just watched her story grow as she refused to give up. And I saw her thriving and starting to do things for her health wise so that she could get better.
Yeah.
So we're gonna let her tell you all about it. So she documented her journey, by the way. I think you can find her on some of the YouTube channels, but also on Facebook. And she's got a special announcement to tell us too today. So I'm just kind of excited. So welcome, Yvette. How are you?
Thank you. I am fantastic. I tell
You
myself that
always
every day.
fantastic.
Thank
And your
you.
spirit of fantasticnism comes through. She's smiling. She's all and despite all that she's gone to. So this is going to be just like a freelance interview between me and Yvette. We almost had the podcast before the podcast because she and I don't get a chance to talk on the phone that often. And she called me and we started testifying on the
Right.
phone. I said, "Hey, Yvette, we got to say this for the podcast because we were doing the podcast without the mics on. We had no
You
mics,
sure did.
and it was. But so, Yvette, tell them, but take us. I know you take us to the beginning, okay? And let's go through this journey. And if it's too much for you to recall, I understand. I know you have it, journalized and all of that, but your story resonates with is going to resonate with so many people. That's why I want them to hear this and they're gonna be just I mean, because I could feel your story. And if I could feel it, I know our audience is gonna be able to feel it as well.
Yeah.
So get
Wow.
started.
Ooh
Take your
wee.
time. Take your
So
time.
it started on a Saturday morning, literally. And this is the heart attack part. And I didn't know what was happening to me. And I'm just laying around, took a hot bath, and I called my daughter. I said, "What should I do?" She said, "Mom, go to the hospital." I'm like, "I'm just gonna stretch it out. I'm just gonna work it out. It'll go away." Nothing took that throbbing inside, pulling, tightening pain away. Went to the hospital.
Mhm.
They drew some blood, did whatever they did. I don't remember. And the doctor said, "You're having a heart attack." I was
Wow. And
literally.
and you know what I'm hearing too, your symptoms, because this is something a lot of black women, particularly a lot of people don't realize that black women have rates of heart disease has gone up by 42% over the last 10 years.
I can
So
believe it.
heart disease is the number one killer.
I can
People think
believe
it's
it.
cancer, but it's
Yeah,
heart
yeah,
disease.
because
And so
mhm.
your symptoms, you said it started in your arm,
Yes, they were in. It was all in my arms and all up my chest area. No, I
shoulder, and
couldn't
chest.
rub it out. I couldn't do anything. Took a hot bath and
Yeah.
rubbed myself down. Nothing worked. And I
Right, because you sitting there didn't realize that symptom because that could have been anything. Most people would have thought, that was just like you.
right.
Maybe I pulled or strained my arm. It sounded, I could hear because I know it's a funny feeling.
Yeah, I never felt before.
To you never
And
felt that before, but I'm
and it's
glad that your
yeah.
daughter made you go to the hospital.
Yeah, she made some sense. For sure.
And when you got there, you told them immediately what your symptoms were, and I'm sure they went to work on you, right?
Yeah, when I told them, they brought me right into triage and took me right to a bed. Doctors came in and did what they
Yep.
did, and so you're
Yep.
not I had a heart attack. I was
You
inactive.
were
I was
having you were
actively
in having a heart
I
attack.
was
You were
having a
having
heart
one.
attack. Yes.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so
And you drove yourself to the hospital?
I did.
You drove yourself?
I did. I did because my
I tell
fiance
you,
had.
the strength of black women.
Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
Nobody was there. I didn't want to call 911 just to be calling. It could have been heartburn. But I didn't know, but I was an active heart attack. And
Oh
they kept
boy.
me in the hospital. But listen to this. I'm in the hospital. I'm feeling okay. They did what they had to do, and I'm feeling okay. Next morning, I'm on the phone. I'm on the phone talking to buyers and homeless people and renters
Oh,
and
you are forever a real estate agent. You ever seen that commercial? There is a not a commercial. There's this Facebook post going around, and it's got this agent sitting out in the lake of the ocean
oh
on
my,
vacation in the middle of the ocean with his swimming trunks on, but with the
yeah,
phone in his hand,
and can't do
still
nothing. But
making a
yep,
deal.
yep, and it
And
that was me.
that's crazy.
Uh,
That's a crazy life. But so after you had your heart, because so I know we got a lot to cover.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna try to help you
so
here.
after the heart attack, and my mom, ironically enough, she was in the hospital for something else the same day, the same time I was in the hospital. She hadn't passed then. I went and
And
visited my mom in the hospital, and
she
she's
was
so my
oh
mother said,
wow.
"Yvette, I
Same
want
hospital?
same hospital around the corner." She said, I want you to go home and I want you to rest. Stop working, just rest. Okay, mama, I can't rest. I got homeless people I need to get help. I can't. That was
Oh boy,
me.
super you had that Superwoman cape on. That
Yeah, I said,
Superwoman cape
I'm not
that
gonna. Yeah,
that's
nobody's gonna be homeless on my watch.
boy, I tell you,
Yeah,
that Superwoman cape, I'm with you on Yvette. Learning how to take that Superwoman cape off is they need to do a class on that.
right, right, right. Mine is off
But
now.
anyway, sometimes God forces us to take off that cape.
Yes,
He
and that's what
forces
he
us
did.
to yeah, so
That's
you
what he did.
had so after you recovered from that, which you did, right?
Yeah, that was 2019. In
Okay.
2021, my mom died in 2020 of COVID in April
Yeah,
23rd.
I'm sorry to hear that, and I actually saw you document that as well,
Yeah,
on your social media, and it was a very sad time for you.
yeah. But the next day after she died, I said, okay, I'm going to take a month off. I'm going to do what mama said and take a month off. I didn't.
Mhm.
I kept going. And then in
Yeah.
February 2021, I'm I'm at a client's house and I'm like, okay, come on, hurry up and sign this because I'm getting hot. It's too hot in here. You got your heat up too hot.
Mm.
I'm just going through. I'm like, I'm coming down with the cold. I'm coming down with something, but it felt different. So I
Mhm,
went home and
mhm,
it just got worse. The next day I told her, I said, look, I got to go take a COVID test just to be sure.
mhm,
COVID, you got COVID. I want you to go home and quarantine for whatever many days. I was at home for
mhm,
8 days, suffering and literally
mm,
dying. I couldn't even walk. The bathroom picture I
mm.
put in the bathroom video, that was me, COVID, and all the way through post COVID. No energy, my muscle tones had just dwindled to nothing during this whole process. So that was
It
COVID.
di didn't you have to, if I'm not mistaken, because I think yours got pretty dire
It
there
did.
for a
I went to the
moment.
hospital. They kept me in the hospital,
You were
and
in the
I
hospital,
was in the
and,
hospital.
didn't you have to get some type
A plasma. So I was in the hospital
of
for
the
six.
blood plasma,
Right,
yeah.
I was in the hospital for 6 days. And the doctors kept coming, well, there's nothing we could do. You just have to go home on steroids and wait it out. I said, I'm not going home the same way I came here. At home, I was dying. I'm dying here. I'm in the hospital. You need to do something about it. Go get me that nurse. She
Mm,
was an infectious disease. And my mind is still working. My body is just in pain.
okay,
And I
okay,
remembered the doctors
okay.
who came in there and she said infectious disease. Well, I got an infectious disease, right? So go get her.
Right.
And I said, I want you to go down that list of treatments because I know former President Trump, he got a treatment. My brother had COVID. He got treatments and they're still living. You figure out a treatment for me. It's scary. I don't want to
Mm,
die. I was scared
mm,
to die, too scared to die. And I told God, I said,
okay,
God, either you take this pain from me or you take me away quietly. I don't want to be here
wow,
like this. So
wow,
the
wow,
doctor, she found, okay, let me look. So she found convalescent plasma therapy. And I said, oh, thank you, God.
mhm,
Oh, thank you. But it'll take 24 to 72 hours to actually work. I got
okay.
to stay in this pain
Mm.
that much longer? Well, if I had a knife,
So
I could have cut my own throat. And I wouldn't have felt it.
wow.
That's
You
just
know what's
how
so
deep.
interesting? I've what's so interesting listening to your story is I've heard, different versions of different people have different there must have been many stages of this COVID. And some people because there are so many different versions I've heard. Yours is probably one of the worst ones I've heard, but I've heard some pretty bad. Then I've heard some people they had it and boom, they shook it off within 3 days,
Oh, that was my
or
husband.
4 days, and then
That was my
but
husband.
then he that was your husband,
Yes.
okay, okay, so some people it just hit some people so much harder than other
Hmm.
people,
And he gave
and
it
you
to
were
me.
one of the ones that it hit.
Yes.
He gave it to you.
We went to Florida.
Wow,
He got it. He
okay,
was sick. I said, okay, baby, I'm sleeping in the other room because we don't know what you have and you don't want to go get tested. So when you're well, that's when I'll
right.
come back. He told me I'm better now. And he wasn't. He was still contagious. And I got it the
Right,
next
right,
day.
right, right, right.
Yeah, so
Wow.
so
Okay.
after COVID, that's
So,
when we came up together again, and they sent me home after the plasma started working in 72 hours. They sent me home like the fifth day of that.
mhm.
And nobody told me about post-COVID symptoms. Post-COVID symptoms had me on a roller coaster.
So what are post-COVID symptoms?
Oh,
What are they?
high anxiety and insomnia at the same time. So, and neither
Mm,
one of them want to give up. So you got your high
mm.
anxiety right here, and you have your insomnia fighting each other, and you're in the middle. You can't
Wow.
sleep.
Wow.
You can't.
Okay.
There's no functionality except to do busy stuff because the anxiety is making you do busy stuff. You're not focused on
Okay.
anything because the insomnia has your mind just locked up. But the
But
anxiety is
you
saying,
you you because you started making I remember you were making some plant, what do they call little small
yeah,
plants?
I still have some.
Uh
That's the only thing that calmed
I
my mind
what were
down.
they called? There was a name for them, and I
Oh,
saw you
I'm,
were making them all over the place. They were
oh
beautiful, and
my
I said,
God.
"What is she
I
doing? Is
know.
she starting to sell flowers
You
now?"
know, I had too
And so
many
what
of
you
them.
you were keeping yourself occupied, and you were being creative, which was a
Yeah.
beautiful thing.
Yeah. It
Okay.
was like therapy.
Uh yes, yeah. So what I like about you, Yvette, is that you are such a strong survivor, and you find ways for yourself to cope.
Yes.
You know yourself very well,
Yes.
and you seem to work with yourself very
Yeah.
well, and that's what has made you successful. So this was back in, we are now 2021.
Uh huh.
How has, because I saw you go through a lot of transition. Tell
Mhm.
us about your latest, what you're doing now, because I know you're still not 100%. If
Oh,
you had to put yourself between 50 and 100%, where will you put yourself?
50 and 100. Wait, 50 to
Yeah,
100.
50 being the low number,
I
100
would
being the high
I would
number.
say around. I would say 75. I would say
75?
70. I
Okay.
would no, but put it at 70 because I still have mobility issues. I still need a knee
Okay.
replacement after all of that. So
Okay.
yeah, so post
Uh,
COVID, I also had a stroke, and I didn't know
wow.
I was stroking out. I was sitting on the couch, and all of a sudden, my mind just went away, and everything was
Hmm.
peaceful. But I knew I wasn't in my right mind. I knew familiar
Mhm.
things, but I couldn't tell myself how to even get up off the couch. I
Mm.
couldn't tell myself get up over there and turn on the light. It was like I was in
Out of
dementia
body?
mode. Dementia.
Right, right, right.
And
Wow.
so the
Wow.
doctor had to do an MRI, and she confirmed, "Yep, you had a stroke." I'm like, "I've been trying to tell you
Wow.
this, that my mind is
Right.
not right." I didn't
Now, at this time, are you taking a lot of medication? Were you on a lot of medication
I,
from the COVID, or were you on
mm,
high blood pressure pills, or any of
they
that before
wanted
you
to
had the
put me
stroke?
on all that, but
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
have high blood pressure. I didn't have
Okay.
diabetes, and I didn't have high
Okay.
cholesterol. Nor did I had a
Okay.
heart condition. The I believe my heart attack was from stress. I was overworked and I didn't know.
Mhm.
And my heart took a toll
Mhm.
and said, "You need to sit your butt down."
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
one more thing.
And
So
I can attest to that.
yeah.
Yes.
So after the stroke, I'm wondering. I still can't walk. I couldn't walk for almost 6 months. And if I did walk,
Mm.
my knee hurt so bad that I didn't want to walk.
Hmm.
I was literally what you the people convalescing. I
Mhm.
was
Mhm.
convalescing. When I would go to
Mhm.
the
Mm.
bathroom, if I didn't, because I didn't want to tell my husband nor my daughter none of this. I'm still trying, and then
You're still trying to be Superwoman.
Right, I'm still for myself now, just so I can show face that I'm still a strong woman to them. Don't be scared of what's happening to me because I got this. I didn't want to show them my pain or my fear.
Mhm. Mhm.
I
Mhm.
did
Mhm.
and then I was ashamed about all of
Mm.
that cuz how can I go from this to now being
Mhm.
this feeble young woman who just got
Mhm.
married a year ago? In
You
bed,
did.
I
You
was
did.
wearing Pampers,
Oh
adult
my goodness
pull-ups.
gracious. Oh my goodness gracious.
It was horrible.
So and you documented every bit of
I
it,
did.
and that's why seeing you now and talking to you now is just, it's a moment, because you've come such a long way. So, after you had the stroke, and now all of this is all past COVID. You no longer have COVID. You don't have the COVID no more, but you got the COVID after effects,
Yes. Oh
okay?
God.
And so you now up until recently, if I'm not mistaken, you decided to change. Had you changed your diet yet
Not yet.
during that time?
Not yet.
Because I know I used to see you do prepared
Yeah,
foods,
because my family
sometimes in
wanted to
your
eat.
posts.
Yeah, and I'm married to
Yes, and
an
you
old man. Oh, old him tech. He got to have his vittles.
well, you had sure, you would have those vittles, and you would show and document that too, you're
Right.
making and keeping them stacked up in the refrigerator,
Yep.
if I recall.
Yes.
But so tell us about that. Tell us about how what made because if I'm not mistaken, you are now you've gone vegan or
Yes.
plant a
Plant.
whole I hate the word vegan. I
Right.
like plant-based,
Yes.
whole food plant-based
Yes.
because they have taken vegan and destroyed it
Yeah. Oh my.
because of
They're
some of the
putting so
foods
much
that we
stuff that
see
ain't
in
vegan.
oh, it's junk. We call it
Uh-huh.
junk food.
Yeah.
And so but you decided to what made you decide to change your diet?
Oh, so when I went to the VA and my doctor was prescribed, well, she did prescribe me all of those medications for cholesterol,
Everything.
everything. I'm
Yep.
like, wait, I came in here, wait, doc, I came in here for my knee. What's wrong with my
Mhm.
knee? Because I know I never had none of those. Well, just take them
Right.
because you're on the verge. I'm thinking, well, I'm on the verge. Why do I want to be on the verge and get all of this? I don't want to be
Right,
on the
right,
verge. If I'm on the verge and I'm feeling like this,
right,
I'm going to be
right,
worse. Not
right.
on my watch. I'm
I
watching.
heard
I'm
that.
watching over me. So not on
Right,
my watch. I'm
right.
not doing that. So,
Yep,
uh,
yep.
so
That's the standard
yeah,
that's called the standard practice of care.
yeah. I
Yes.
know. Give them some pills. So
Yep, give 'em write
she's
'em a
yeah.
prescription.
So she sent me to physical therapy. The first guy sucked. The second guy was amazing. He said, you need to stretch. And he started showing me some stretching. So when I sit in my office chair, I would have my legs in like a position like this on down below. And I have a
Mhm,
ball that I squeeze between my thighs to
mhm,
keep my legs strong.
mhm,
So every day I'm doing some
mhm,
type of stretch. And that's what helped me. In 5 days of
mm,
stretching every day, constantly, every day I get up and
mm,
stretch. Every day I didn't miss a beat. Every day for 100 days. Every single day.
mm,
I
mm.
can I can lift my leg up.
Hello, leg.
Yeah. I couldn't do this. I couldn't do that
Okay,
even if I tried. Now,
okay.
then I'm online watching just people watching. And I saw a young lady from my high school and she had two pictures side by side. One picture of her with her stomach big. The next picture, there's no.
Mhm,
I said, "Girl, what you do? I need to know what you
mhm,
did." And she invited me out to Wakana in here in Chicago, and they had the presentation about being healthy, eating healthy, and drinking healthy, and cleaning your gut health, and all of this. I said, "I need that." And that's when
mhm,
I
mhm.
became my husband and I. We went, and that day I said, "You know what? We're starting today." What do we need to do?
Whoa.
We
So
went
you went cold
cold
turkey.
turkey. I went all that's it. Is no in between. So we went to
Wow, cold
Costco. Yeah,
turkey.
we went to Costco and loaded up on fruits and vegetables. I said I'm gonna make this, and this, and I did. I made that in
Cause
meal
you, cause
plans.
you so you see the good news, see the good love for our viewers out there listening. I mean, for our listeners, see, Yvonne is a creative. You can tell she could cook too. And one of the things although I will tell you this, even if you can't cook, one thing we've learned about plant-based whole food people,
You don't have to cook that.
they can take plants and then vegetables and do almost anything with them. Is that
Right,
correct,
right.
Yvette?
Yvette, right. So, and I didn't know how to cook before COVID. I was just, tiptoe around. You want to eat something? Okay, I know how to do this, but that was not ever a favorite of mine to do. I was a
Hmm.
career
Wow, would
woman.
never thought that.
Yeah, I was a career
Mhm.
woman as a single mom raising two children. So I had to work. And I'm like, you know what? Y'all better hurry up and learn how to cook so y'all can eat because their mama don't like cooking. So they never
I
learned
see.
and so we survived, but then that COVID did something to my brain. And all of a
Mm,
sudden I'm in the
mm,
kitchen now. And I liked it. It was relaxing. It was
mm.
relaxing that anxiety. Now eating
Okay,
that food, the chicken and the fish and all that, that wasn't helping my body
okay.
holistically. So
Right,
when we
right.
met up with the people to teach us plant based, when
Mhm.
I started doing plant based, my body started making changes. I felt my body changing. And then stretching, I saw my body changing. I went from 225 to 200 within those 100 days.
Wa Wow, that's right. So she documented this, what did you call it, 100 days to
Uh-huh.
wellness?
100 day
And,
journey
y
to
and yeah, she did a
physical health.
journey to physical health, right?
Hmm.
And so you started that 100 days. Now you've passed that 100
Oh
days. Are you
yeah,
going into a second
I'm
100
on my
days?
second one. I started the second one June 6th, 2022.
Okay.
On my husband's
So
birthday.
what you do is commit to 100. Tell us how did you come up with 100?
I know 100 is just a whole number. 100 it fulfills, all the single and double digits and takes you to a whole nother level. 100 to me is complete. That's the best job you can do. You get 100 on your test. You get 100 on any scoring system. You get 100. You've done exceptionally well, exceedingly
Mhm.
well, and that's
Mhm.
what that
Okay.
100 means to
100
me.
means. Okay. All right. So 100, that makes sense now. And you've done 100 and now you're doing your second 100
Yes.
and you see a tremendous difference. And I have a confession to make as well.
Yes.
I have also gone plant-based,
Thank
whole food plant-based. I started the 1st of June,
you.
so I'm brand new to it. But in my first 2 weeks was a little bit of a struggle, because I did plan out my menu, and I'm doing it solo. What I'm doing is I'm a researcher, so I've
Mhm.
researched so many, plant-based, recipes and authors and books and people,
Yes.
and I have 2 that I love to follow, and I just follow them, but on top of being plant-based, for me, I had to be gluten-free.
Yep.
And I also am all striving to be 100, well, 95% oil free because of the heart.
Yes.
Okay. And how I found out about that particular way to go is oil free.
Mhm.
And cooking without oil has been interesting because what we've done is change it to broth. But how
Oh.
that happened, Yvette, was I spoke to one of the world renowned cardiologists,
Mhm.
and I will give you his name is Dr. Ellenstein. And he
Okay.
said anyone with heart that want to build a fortress around their heart,
Yes.
he said they have to be, and he believed as a doctor that they have to be plant based.
Yeah. I can see that.
He said because that is the only way you can get rid your body of the inflammation. And this is all about inflammation.
Mhm.
And so um that has that spearheaded something in me because I've been trying to struggle with what I want to teach people. And I think what I want to teach people is how to get rid of inflammation. You're
Yeah.
not going to get rid of all of it, but it's the chronic underlying inflammation because all that you went through. all of it was from your body being inflamed.
And that's what you
And we
told
don't be
me.
just inflamed. I
Mhm.
did?
Yes, you did.
Well, and then we don't just become it's interesting. I don't
Mhm.
see, I don't even remember all the stuff. I just keep knowing that what I know. But
Yeah.
I do know that that if you and that's how we started that brown one of the ways of starting the Brown Women Wellness inflammation, anti-inflammation tea,
Mhm.
which was started by my aunt. So but we inflammation is the root cause. So I will share with you. And by the way, there is the head of cardiologists at Rush
Mhm.
is a black man named Dr. Kim Williams. Kim Williams. He said that he don't understand after you look at all the research out there,
Mhm.
how a cardiologist, he said you got two kind of cardiologists. You either have a vegan,
Mhm.
plant-based cardiologist, and then everybody else who reads it and just decide to throw that information out because he said we all get the same reports.
Yeah.
So their belief is to make your heart a fortress, you have to be oil free as well. And so that was the one that took
Mm.
me back because I was like, now, how am I going to learn how to cook oil free and still make the food tasty?
Mhm.
I was concerned about that. Well, there is a organization called Plant Strong. When
Mhm.
you get a chance, look them up. Plant Strong. If any of your other plant-based people out there in our audience, Plant Strong will help you become vegan. But this was started by Rip Ethelstone, who is the son of the cardiologist
Mm.
that has written. Let's see, the name of his book is. Hold on, I have it right here.
That's
Look at me getting
interesting.
up out the chair. Here's the book right here. It's called Prevent
Reverse
and Reverse
heart disease.
Heart Disease. And this doctor, he's Dr. Ellenstein. Dr. Ellenstein, he has a son. His name is Rip Ellenstein.
Mhm.
Rip is a he's a fire chief.
Mhm.
And he started following his dad's footsteps, but he got out there and he said, as a fireman, I'm very strong. The mistake that a lot of people make, and I'm sorry, the mistake a lot of people make with thinking about plant based is that those people are not going to be strong and where they're going to get their protein from.
Exactly. I've seen that too with
And
wrestlers.
that's the number one thing that, people ask us, how can you do that? So one day I have a whole series on plant-based whole food because I'm going through it now, but I'm going to document my journey as well. And so, I was curious as to why you decided, but one thing I will say, Yvette, you are on the right path. Everything that you're doing is to heal yourself.
Yep.
I know you're going to be 100%. Um, we're running out of time, so we don't have a lot of time left,
Mhm.
but I know you're gonna be at 100%. I look forward to seeing you at that 100%. In fact, we're gonna bring you back when you are at 100%
Okay.
so you can tell us what that feels like and what that different. Now tell everyone where they can find your story. Where can they, if they want to know more about you? Because if I'm not mistaken, you just got a big honor from Facebook.
I did. They've
You are
made
now
me
an influencer,
a digital influencer. Yeah. I'm like, whoa, okay.
digital influencer. Okay.
So I
And
am
that's
public.
because she was posting those videos. She's public, right? That's why I said let people know where they can find your story.
Yeah.
How can they find you?
Yvette Jones or Yvette Jones Swanson. And the name of the journal is My 100-Day Journal for Better Health, physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And it's a journal. My story can be their blueprint. So 100 days of um of health. I think that's how it is on
I love it.
Facebook.
So she has a journal. Are you selling the journal or
Yes, the
are you going to
journal
sell the
will
journal?
be
Okay.
available next month. I had to hire somebody for this because I'm not do I could I don't know what to do all that, but it came out really nice. Something
Plus you don't want to put too much stuff stress on yourself.
right. So I wrote it. Actually, I sat up one Sunday and sat in the bed. Now I'm not a big TV watcher, but I sat in the bed and I had my phone and I created it right there on the phone. So it's my journal of every day that I had written down. Here's my calendar. And I said I don't want to keep it in the calendar anymore because I don't know what I did on those days. I want to see what I was doing. So
Okay.
I put it,
So
it
so you have So you put it in. You're putting it. Is it going to be published? So it'll be ready. Maybe what? One day next
No,
week, or a few weeks.
in
Give
July.
in
Yeah. So
July.
this is where I
So the
started.
audience will be able to.
hmm
Aha.
on the
Okay.
calendar, just
Okay.
what happens. I'm like, okay, so now that's a book that can be held and it can be
Mm-hmm.
referred to, and that's what I'm going to be using during my 100-day journeys continuously. And I said, people have been reaching out to me, asking me, where can I start? What did you do? How can and everybody's journey is going to look different. But the
Absolutely.
main thing
That's well.
is, the main thing is, what are you going to do for yourself today that's beneficial for yourself physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally? You write it down in that journal for that day and you do it. And then there are some
Oh,
other
right. That's a
guidelines.
word.
Yeah, there's some other guidelines that needs to be followed in order to be able to do that. But yeah, that's what happened to me.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna wrap this up.
Okay.
I really again appreciate you coming and sharing your story. We could, because you and I could go
Yes.
on and on and on. And I don't want, we've passed a little past our time longer than we normally go. So
Uh-oh.
if is there one last word you want to tell our listening audience before we sign off?
Yeah, I want to tell people to pay attention to yourself. Treat yourself nice. You have this one life to live that God gave us. We don't know what our afterlife is going to be. So in this life that you have, treat it with kindness, treat it with respect, treat it with love, and do the right things to yourself for yourself.
Amen. All right. All right. And one more time, tell them where they can find you. That one more time.
I'm on Facebook and
Give out that
all
information.
right, I'm on Facebook and
Yeah. You
Instagram.
know what? And
Yes.
Instagram? Okay. We'll have it in our show notes also.
Okay.
And as you guys know, this is the part that Keely usually does every time we get ready to sign off. Don't forget to download us, find us, share us with your friends. Don't keep us a secret. Also, we want you to don't forget you can write us anywhere, info at brownwomenwellness.com. We welcome your questions. And hey, don't forget now, tell your friends, find us everywhere you can download a podcast. And with that, we'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to Well Honestly, the podcast. If you want to know more about us and our products, check us out over on our website at brownwomenwellness.com. And remember, ladies, we are not doctors, and any information shared by us is not medical advice. Always follow your doctor's advice.
And don't forget to rate and review our podcast and let us know what you loved about this week's episode. And please subscribe to wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Feel free to email us and let us know what you would like to hear more of from us. Don't be afraid to say hi. We'll say hi right back to you.
Don't forget to find us across all social platforms at Brown Women Wellness. As always, show notes with links to what we talked about today in this week's episode will be in the description box below. Thanks for listening.